What is up, Insaners, and welcome to another video of the Fantasy Premier League 2022-23 season. In this one, guys, we're going to talk about the free hit in Game Week 25, whether we should use it right now or not. We'll talk about the pros and cons of different drafts and decide whether we should go for free hit in Game Week 25 or not. So if you like the video today, guys, make sure to hit the like button. Also subscribe to the Insanely Football YouTube channel for more FPL content. And with that, let's start today's video. I will start with why you should use your free hit chip in Game Week 25. Now, if you have 7 to 8 players or maybe even more players who are blanking in Game Week 25, so let's say if you have all of these players from the teams like Newcastle, Man United, Brentford and Brighton, and if that number is 7 to 8 or even more, I think in that case you'll have a lot of blank Game Week players. And in this particular scenario, guys, I think it is useful and beneficial to use the free hit chip in Game Week 25. Now let's say if you have a lot of blank Game Week players but you are trying to take hits, you are trying to get in players maybe for the medium to slightly long term, and if you still can't get to 8 to 9 players even with hits, guys, I think in that scenario as well you should just use the free hit chip. I think it is very team dependent. Your team definitely needs it in that scenario, and I think you can easily get away with not taking hits and using the free hit chip this week. Now the third scenario is that let's say if you want to retain players from Man United, Newcastle, Brighton and even Brentford and Brentford especially because they have a double in 27. Now if you want to retain players from these teams, if you still want to play your Man United assets in Game Week 26 and 27, there's a highly likely chance that they will blank in Game Week 28. But if you still want to retain your United assets, keep your Newcastle players. In that scenario, guys, you can easily retain them, use the free hit chip this week, not select those players, go for players from the Liverpool team, go for players from Wolves, from Everton. Maybe these teams or these players you might not want long term, you can easily get them on the free hit and then take them out next week. So at the end, I think it's pretty team dependent. It depends on whether you want to attack these fixtures, these teams, what is your current team, how many hits, etc. are you taking. I think if you're anyway falling between the ranges of -12s to -16s to even -20s, I think in that scenario it's better to play the free hit chip right now than to wait for it later. Now we'll start with the first draft. It's a 3-4-3 draft. Now in this one we've gone for triple Arsenal. I think that's a pretty much must. Even if you're free hitting, let's say if you're not free hitting also, I think triple Arsenal is pretty much sorted. I think it really makes your team very strong. In this scenario, guys, we have Saka, Odegaard and Nketiah. Now a lot of people are also going for a third defender instead of Nketiah, but I still feel because of the attacking upside, because of the fact that he is playing in that forward position, yes, he's struggling a little bit, he's missing a lot of chances, but the fixtures are pretty good. He can get a massive haul. I think he can definitely outscore the defenders for the double in 25. I think that's the reason we've gone for Nketiah here. In terms of the Liverpool team, guys, we've also gone for a triple up on Liverpool because you are using a free hit. You are going to go for players that maybe normal players, normal FPL managers may take a lot of hits for or may even not go for. So in this case, I think Liverpool triple up looking pretty solid. You have Trent, you have Salah, and then you have also Darwin Núñez. Depends on the injury news to Núñez. If Núñez is considered fit, if he plays certain minutes in the Champions League, but he still plays and comes onto the field, and we have some update regarding Núñez that he is okay to play in Game Week 25, I think he's a great option. Again, not a lot of people will go for Núñez because they have the likes of Kane. They might not want to downgrade Kane. Maybe they have a cheaper striker and they may find some difficulties in upgrading that cheaper striker. Because of that, I think Darwin Núñez is not going to be a very popular asset. Now, in terms of retaining Man City, now Man City doesn't have a double in 25, but they do still have a decent fixture. And I think having Mahrez and Haaland is pretty decent. We've gone for Lewis here in this draft just because of the fact that he's quite cheap and he's covering off the Man City options. We're most likely not going to play Lewis, so he's going to be on our bench. So he's just there as an option in case if we require him. We're not even sure whether he's going to start this week or not. But in any case, I think he's a very cheap option and I think he's absolutely fine on the bench. Then in terms of the Everton players, we have Tarkowski and Pickford who will be starting for us. It's a double defense for Everton. A lot of people might not be very comfortable with going double Everton defense, but I think it's pretty solid, it's pretty cheap. I think Sean Dyche is definitely going to shore up the Everton defense. I think they can definitely keep at least one clean sheet, if not two. Now in terms of the Everton attack, we have Iwobi. In case if you want to go for a different option, you can go for somebody like a Gray, for example, or maybe even somebody like a McNeil who will be playing on the flank, on the wings. But I think Iwobi is okay. We may not play him because it's a 3-4-3 draft, so we're going to play with Saka, Odegaard, Salah and Mahrez as the 4 options in midfield, and I think Iwobi will be on the bench. Then in terms of the Wolves options, we have Kilman and Bueno. We may play Kilman as the third option in defense, so it will be a 3-man backline with Trent, Tarkowski and Kilman. I think Kilman should start. I'm not really expecting any clean sheets, but we may just get lucky here. And I think it's still putting yourself in a spot, in a chance to get some points, to get a clean sheet, get a haul. I think Kilman can definitely give us that. So I think it's a pretty decent team. It's definitely attacking teams like Everton, Liverpool, Wolves, and even Arsenal, which again, this combination might not be there for a lot of managers who will be taking it. So I think it's a pretty strong draft. You can easily play a 3-4-3 with Iwobi on the bench. Now let's move on to the second draft here. It's a 4-4-2. You can even play it as a 3-4-3. Now what's the difference in this draft? Instead of Pickford, we've gone for Sa as our goalkeeper. So we've gone for a Wolves goalkeeper. We are playing a Wolves double up instead of the Everton double up. So it'll be a back three, or it can also be a back four with Trent, Tarkowski, Kilman and Gabriel. So instead of going for 3 Arsenal attackers here, we've gone for an Arsenal defender as a third Arsenal option. Then we've retained Saka in midfield and Nketiah in attack. In terms of the Liverpool double up in attack, we've gone for Gakpo and Salah instead of Nunes and Salah. Now, in case if we get some news that Nunes is injured, maybe he's not fit, or in case if you're not convinced with Nunes, if you are structurally thinking that Gakpo is a lot easier for you to get in, I think Gakpo could also be pretty decent. Now, there's a chance that Gakpo might get some limited minutes because of some rotation, because of the fact that Firmino and Jota, they're both back in training. They're both gonna play, they're at least gonna play some minutes, and I'm pretty confident Gakpo starts, but then again, he can get some limited minutes. Now, in case if you are a little bit worried, you can just go for the likes of Salah or Trent, or you can even double up on the Liverpool defense, which is another draft that we'll probably going to talk about very soon. But I think it's a pretty strong combination. It's a risky combination slightly, because again, not a lot of people will go for the likes of Trent, Gakpo and Salah as a trio. Plus you also have Mahrez, who may or may not start, so it's a bit risky. Again, if you want to go a bit cheaper in certain spots, maybe you can downgrade a Mahrez to a Grealish. You can save some money there. Iwobi again has 2 fixtures, and I think he's going to start both games, so that's pretty much covers the Mahrez punt or Mahrez pick in case if we still play Mahrez and keep Iwobi on the bench. Now, in terms of going for the third Wolves player, we've gone for Cunha. I hope I've got that name right. But we've gone for the Wolves attacker. There's an option to play him. You can also bench him and go for a 4-4-2. But I think Cunha from Wolves looks an okay option. Wolves aren't really a side who score a lot of goals, who create a lot of chances as well. But in case if I am going for one of the strikers, I think Cunha is a decent option. He's also not costing us a lot of money, so he's not really breaking the bank, and I think we can easily bench him as well. So he gives us that optionality, and I think that for that optionality, it's a very decent option. Then we have Nketiah and Haaland, pretty much solid, pretty much standard here, and I think it's a decent draft as well. Now coming to the third draft. Now in this draft, we've retained the triple up on the Arsenal attack in Saka, Odegaard and Nketiah. Then instead of going for a double Liverpool attack, we've gone for double Liverpool defense. So we've gone for Trent and Robertson, and we can easily play a 4-3-3 or even a 3-4-3 in this draft with Trent and Robertson starting for us. I think it's a pretty strong combination. In case if you're convinced that Liverpool can keep 2 clean sheets, I think this is a pretty solid option to go for. Both Trent and Robertson, they are looking like the shades of the old selves that they were. I think Trent especially is playing a lot better. He is doing a lot of good things in the attack, and I think there's a good potential for clean sheets as well as attacking returns of both players. So I think Trent and Robertson, pretty strong combination. In case if you're not convinced with minutes, in case if you think that there'll be a lot of rotation from Klopp, I think Trent and Robertson is a strong combo. Then we have Tarkowski and Mykolenko as the double up from Everton. We can easily just play one of them and keep Kilman on the bench. Now, as I was saying earlier in the last draft, in case if you want to save some money, in case if you're not convinced with Mahrez, well, I mean, there are question marks on Grealish's spot and his minutes as well, especially this week because of the fact that there is Champions League as well. And I think Grealish can also get benched, but in any case, we have Sarabia from Wolves who can cover him off, who has 2 fixtures as well, and I think Sarabia is going to start and play both games. So I think it's a pretty strong combination. Here, another option which not a lot of people are eyeing this week is Oli Watkins from Aston Villa. Now, he doesn't have a double game week, but he has a decent fixture. I think he can do really well, especially with the form that he's in. I think he's in great form and he can definitely score a goal or 2. And I think Watkins is a very strong differential this week. With Watkins, we can play a 4-3-3. We can also play a 3-4-3 with an Nketiah and Haaland alongside him. So I think it depends on how convinced you are with the Liverpool double in attack, or if you are okay going with the Liverpool defense, with the double up in Liverpool defense, and how again comfortable you are doing that as well. So I think both free hit 2 and free hit 3 are great drafts, and totally depends on how comfortable you are with which combination from Liverpool. So these are some of my top drafts for the free hit in Gaming 25, guys. Do let me know what you think about these. Do let me know if you're also eyeing these set of players or whether I'm going totally different or totally nuts. Do let me know in the comments below. That'll be all from my side for this video. I hope you enjoyed and liked the video today. I hope you found it useful. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. Also subscribe to the Insanely Football YouTube channel for more FPL content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.